good with it, in the hood with it. Welcome back to the Collective Clips, where you already know we get it in. But before we get it in, let's hit that like and subscribe button. Ding! Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content I'm kicking. And I highly appreciate the support, man. Thank you very much. I couldn't do it without you. So, did you guys hear about the Hells Angel, former president of a Hells Angels chapter, the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club, that got locked up for going to a funeral? Man, this world is crazy, but I've seen it before. And I wanted to tell you a few stories. So this guy whose last name is Lancia is a former Hells Angels president. And, you know, whatever he did to find himself incarcerated, again, his club business and his business. We're not going to go into all that. But he has been released. He did his time. And he actually asked his parole officer if he could go to a funeral, right? For, I guess they're saying, an alleged associate or former boss of a mob, whatever, right? Whoever's funeral it is, whatever ties he has to that person, man, it's his own business. But at the end of the day, he did go to that funeral. And because he went to that funeral and other known members of the Hells Angels were present and other mob figures were present, they gave this guy a violation. Now, again, this guy asked his parole officer to go to this funeral. His parole officer knew exactly where he was going to be, exactly the type of individuals that were going to be there, and again, allowed him to go to this funeral. And then he was violated. He was violated for being around known gang members. He was violated for being around his club, his former club, right? Now, I say that to say this. I'm not surprised. That's the way the world works, right? That's what happens when you're on parole or felony probation. You know, you can get told one thing, then another thing's happened. I've seen guys get violated for a whole lot of shit. I, in fact, got violated 3 times while on parole. The first time for having red shoelaces in my shoe. Gang paraphernalia. Okay? One thing that you do know as an active gang member or as a documented gang member is you can't wear certain colors. You can't have any type of gang paraphernalia, pictures, etc., etc. And you can't be around neighborhoods or known gang members or an association with them. That's an automatic violation. You know this. But I remember when I had paroled out of Corcoran. And this is true story. This is how quick everything could end. I had paroled on a Friday, so I didn't have to see my parole officer till Monday. So I had the weekend to wiggle. I was wiggling out there, having a good old time. And my primo had sent me a parole package. Okay, in that parole package, he had some old school Air Force, what were they? They were the Air Maxes. Okay, and they were blue, red, white, all kinds of different colors. They happen to have red shoelaces. I remember when I went to my parole officer that Monday morning, I was wearing those shoes, some regular fucking 501s, a white t-shirt. Didn't look gang related at all. I think I had a hat on, wasn't red, just a white hat, plain hat. I made sure specifically that I dressed this way so that way I wouldn't ruffle any feathers or get a violation. And I remember as soon as I walked in, that parole agent looked at me. She took one look down. She said, "Give me your shoes." I said, "What?" I took my shoes off right there. She immediately broke out scissors, cut the laces off, put the laces in a bag, and violated me. Okay? Now, of course, I got a slap on the wrist in and out, but I got violated my first day going to the parole office for red shoelaces because I should have known better than I could have put white shoelaces in, blue shoelaces, black shoelaces, but red because that was the identifying color of my former gang. Actually, I was active at the time, right? My gang, I was promoting gang-related activity. It's crazy, right? So when I heard this Hells Angel, ex-Hells Angel, of course, was violated for going to a funeral, at first, I was like, wow, they're crazy. They did him like that? That seemed like a setup to me. But then as I looked further into the case, I realized because of the type of people that were going to be there, they set that man up. When that man asked to go to this funeral, it was kind of his demise. You know, they gave him the green light. Yes, go, knowing that that would be a reason to violate him. When you're a notorious figure, someone in the gang underworld or the motorcycle club underworld or whatever it may be, and you're targeted for whatever reason, believe me, this guy was a president of his chapter, former president now. He's basically looked at as the head of the snake. they're definitely going to do everything in their power to keep you off the streets, because even if you change your life, you're still a menace to society. You're still a thorn in the side of the community. That's how they feel. It's not forgive and forget. They never forget, right? So they use these tactics. They use the system against you. And this guy should have knew better. But again, he did get violated, and it's crazy. And I want to tell you a couple more stories. So the second time I was violated was for promethazine coating. Okay? Cough syrup. And no, I wasn't Lil Wayne. I wasn't doing all that weird shit. Right? I wasn't sipping on some scissor. What had happened was I was sick. I was righteously sick. I had got laryngitis. I couldn't even breathe, man. My throat was swollen up. I was in a bad way. And I remember I worked at the Dole company at the time, and it'd be wet, real wet in the area. I worked in the juice plant. It was a very wet area. And a lot of people would get bronchitis or they'd get laryngitis, whatever they had. Maybe it was bronchitis. I don't know what fucking I had. I was sick, right? And I remember I had to see my parole officer. I was at the point where I was seeing my parole officer once a month. I'd go give him a piss test, whatever. Every once in a while, Task Force Tuesday would hit the pad, handcuff me, make me look stupid, drag me out in front of the apartment complex, in front of all my neighbors, and do what they did, right? But I remember this particular day, my parole officer, I called him. I was like, hey, man, I'm very sick. Do you still want me to come in? He was like, yeah, I'm going to need you to come in. Cool. I just didn't want to get him sick. I wanted him aware so he couldn't get mad at me later and say, hey, fuck, you came in here sick. Now I'm sick and all kinds of shit. So anyways, I went in and he could tell I was very sick. And he was like, man, go home and get some rest. I did my little piss test, whatever. He's like, yeah, go get some rest. And he said, have you been working? I said, yeah, but I'm going to take a few days off, man. I can't even breathe. He's like, cool. All right, cool. So he knew I was sick. Cool parole officer. You know, sometimes you get cool ones, sometimes you don't. The one that cut my shoelaces off, she was not cool. She had it in from my neighborhood. Anyone from my neighborhood got maxed out. They know who she is in the town, right? Anyway, so with this guy, he was pretty cool. We never had no problems. Bam. I go home. At this time, me and one of my baby's mamas, because I got several, one of them, we were living with her mother at the time. And so I was sick. So I'm laying down in our room. And she's trying to comfort me, you know what I'm saying? Give me a mamon, right? Whatever works. And her mom comes in. She's like, mijo, you're sick. I said, yeah. She was like, what's wrong? I said, I can't breathe, my throat. She's like, I got some cough syrup in the refrigerator. Now, I don't know anything about that. Sipping on syrup shit. I'm not with that program. I'm not in that life like that, okay? All I know is about selling dope. I don't know about selling syrup, right? So I tell my baby's mom, yeah, go grab that. Right? Not even tripping, thinking it's like NyQuil or some type of shit like that, you know? So anything to make me go to sleep and feel better at this point. So I, boom, slam me a nice trago of it, nice shot. And it does actually help me. And I'm feeling a little bit better and I sleep. And so anyways, a couple days later, my parole officer calls me. He's like, hey, your piss test, it came out. We could, you know, it was tainted or whatever. So maybe because I was sick or whatever. He said, how you feeling? I said, I'm still a little sick, but I feel a little bit better now. He's like, come in and take another test. All right, cool. So I came in, pissed, whatever. And next thing you know, the next day, get up, son of a bitch. Snatched me up, AR-15s on me, cops everywhere. Task Force Tuesday on a Monday. Like, man, what happened, right? I'm still sick. They're dragging me throughout the living room. My baby's mom's tripping. Her mom's really tripping. The paisa that's in her mom's room is like, ¿por qué? Everybody's tripping. I get a violation. The violation was because my test came back dirty for coding, right? And then I was like, no, let me explain to you. So he's like, no explanation. You're dirty. You're a dope fiend. What? I said, no. You don't understand, man. I took some cough syrup because I'm sick. And, you know, it was just a mistake. No big deal. Bam. 3-month violation. Went back to Tracy prison, gave him 90 days, then got out, right? That was my second one. Like I said, man, any little thing, you know, when you're on parole, probation counts. The next time was the craziest time, right? So my family lives out of state at the time. So I would travel and go visit my family. And I knew I was taking a penitentiary chance. You're not supposed to leave your county without authorization, or the state, especially without authorization from your parole officer. But I'm not going to ask the motherfucker every time, hey, can I go over here like Al Boo Boo? I ain't no poop butt. I'm just going to go. You know what I'm saying? But you don't got a license. I got keys though, right? So I'm gone. So I'd visit family. I did it several times. Well, I ended up getting pulled over and popped with some chick. That mama was spectacular, right? So I'm chilling. We get pulled over. I already know I'm violating parole, so I'm trying to get my brother's name because he's doing, at this time, he was doing like 20-something years in prison, so I try to use his name. Difference is my brother has green eyes, I don't. They're like, oh yeah, that's your name? Like, they already knew it wasn't him and who I was, right? But they're playing a role. They're like, damn, when's your green eyes turn brown? I'm like, last night. Boom. They arrest me. I get extradited back to California from Washington State, right? Violation. It is what it is, right? I remember the feds had picked me up. They actually had two, I don't know if they were state police or feds. I think they were feds that do interstate compact transfers. They actually rode with me on the plane. They had me on a fucking shock belt. It was crazy. It was my first time. I felt like I was fucking on Air Force, like I was fucking Con Air, right? So they sent me to Sacramento County Jail overnight. I stayed there 2 days. Monday morning, I'm in Tracy Prison looking around like, damn. They give me a cellie. I hate this one. Probably the worst cellie besides Shadow that shit his pants all the time. Probably the worst cellie I ever had, right? He was an ex-Northerner. At this time, I was no longer active, right? So I'm in J-Wing. They put this dude in. He's an OG. Can't read, can't write, can't do shit but fucking shit in the toilet and eat all his tray, right? Which right there made me mad because I'm going to use it. Can I get a little bit of the tray, right? Anyways, I'm kicking back with this dude. Can't stand him. One of the worst cellies I ever had. He's all sprung on his old lady. So he's telling me stories. Man, I can't wait to see my old lady. I can't wait to see my old lady when I get out. And now he's on his eighth absconding. This is my first one ever. So, of course, I'm asking, mate, bro, what they do on your first one, second one, third one, fourth, right? And he's like, oh, you're going to get out, slap on the wrist, you're going to be out. So I'm already making plans in my mind. Like, I'm going to get straight out, go straight back up there because I had knocked that chick. I need another one in immediately, right? So I'm already making all these plans in my head. Well, we go to Valdivia, which is basically board to find out how much your violation is. And so when we go in, we're chained. Me and him sit down. He's my bunkie. And we're chopping it up. And now, mind you, they had got him in Denver, Colorado, and brought him back to California, right? So he's on his eighth fucking absconding. He's been doing this. He gets out, goes back, gets out, goes back, right? And so there's a white guy there, a Wood. What's up, brother? I said, as soon as I walk in, what's up, brother? He's like, what's up, brother? You know, why are you talking to me? You're Mexican, right? So I'm like, hey, what's up, bro? And he's like, I don't know, man. They got me on an absconding. Everybody was leaving, right? So this fucker goes in and it's a fat black chick. I remember she was the one doing the Valdivia hearings in Tracy at that time. He goes in, comes out about 10 minutes later, all happy and shit. Fool, I'm getting out. Time served. I'm getting out. He's all happy. He's like, shit, I'm jamming. Woo. I'm like, that's right. That's right. So then they call my cellie's name. He goes. Okay, this motherfucker walks in there all stupid. Doesn't know where he's at. And he comes out on his eighth violation for absconding. Hey, fool, they gave me time served. Oh, she's shooting love today. Woo. I'm like, oh, I'm going home for sure. I'll let you guys guess what happened to me. You guessed it. You guessed it. I went in there. Hey, how you doing, man? I'm trying to play the role. I'm shackled, you know. Yeah, you know, I went out there to help my family and I was trying to work with this, that. I know I was in the wrong, but this is an opportunity, this, that. Oh, yeah. Your first one? Yeah. Okay. Year flat. She gave me a year flat violation. Shit all over me. I came out. Hey, by the time I got back to the cell, my cellie was already packed and gone. I was sad than a motherfucker, right? I was, hey, this motherfucker didn't leave me no sopas or nothing. We had went to Cantina, didn't leave me shit. I was struggling. So I say that to say this. I've seen people get violated for the most frivolous things. But when you're a known, notorious gang member, motorcycle club member, anything that they consider outside of the norm, best believe if you're around anybody that they think is involved in the criminal world, you're in violation. You know, and it's unfortunate that this guy has to go through this type of shit, but this is only one of many times I'm sure he's going to have to go through this. You know, of course it hit the news. Oh, former president of the Hells Angels, man, gets locked up. What about when I got locked up? What about when I got locked up for shoelaces? Didn't no one do a fucking a news report on me? They were like, look, another fucking baboso locked up again. You know, I've had homeboys locked up because their ex, that there was a restraining order, happened to live on the same street, down the street from them. They happened to move to another chick's house. They were in too close a proximity, violation. You know, I had a homeboy that was walking and he went to a taco truck, and the guy that worked on the taco truck was a homie from a different neighborhood, and his parole officer happened to go by and said that he was having conversation with them. The motherfucker was ordering a taco de lengua, right? 4 months, Tracy Prison. You know, I've heard horror stories of a lot of people violated. Okay, my last violation was my worst, and I'm gonna explain to you why. I've told the story before. They forgot about me. I can literally say that I was in prison and never ever thought I was going to get out. And if I didn't take a penitentiary chance and run up in a building and throw myself at the mercy of a parole agent that was in that building and take a chance at getting shot by the tower, getting smashed on by whoever, God knows whoever, I would have never been out. I mean, probably now it's been 20 plus years, but I would have not got out. Okay? When I was doing that year flat violation, I'm locked up, year flat. I know what a year flat is. A year flat is a year flat. No good time, no 85%, no 80%, no none of that. No day for day, no half time. A year flat. So if I get locked up on December 1st, I will be out next year on December 1st. That's a year flat. Okay? My year flat date comes and I'm like, what's going on here? Because up until this point, a parole agent had actually got at me like, hey, your date's coming up pretty soon. Yeah, whatever, right? I'm just doing my time. I was working out, trying to get on swole and shit, and not even paying attention to the time, not letting the time do me, doing the time, right? And then my date comes and goes. Okay, maybe they made a mistake. Maybe it's, sometime tomorrow or something. Maybe I'm off. Maybe I'm just stupider than my ex-bunkie was, right? A week passes, 2 weeks, a month. I'm on the phone with my mom. Well, what's going on here? You got to make a phone call, right? Nothing's happening. Finally, after about 3 months of sitting there, yeah, I'm a baboso. I did that. I finally tell one of my fucking homies, right? Hey, bro, I'm going to run up in right there where that pro agent is in that building in 4 block. I'm going to run up in there, bro. Fuck it. They're going to shoot you, bro. You can't just take off right. I said, I don't give a fuck. They opened the doors for yard release. I shot through the Sally port right in there. Pro agent's right there. I just run up in the room like, hey, I got to get at you. I got to talk to you. Pro agent's like all scared, like, hey, what are you talking about? I said, hey, I'm supposed to be out. Cops go to snatch me. Pro agent's like, nah, I'm going to hear what he has to say. I explained to him. When I explained, right, it was actually female. When I explained to her what was going on, come to find out that my parole agent in my building never processed the paperwork on my release, and somehow I got lost in the fold, and my violation went from a year flat to a year and fucking 3 more months flat. I ended up getting out that next day. What I'm saying is, I've seen horror stories, and I've seen it. As far as this Hell's Angel guy, they're making it a story. They're making it a big deal. I think, the Hell's Angels, and it's amazing that after so many years of being established as a motorcycle club, that they get targeted as much as they do. I was getting at one of my homeboys the other day, man, who rides. He's from a club, but he's not a 1%er. He's just from a regular club. And he has homies that mix and mingle with the Hells Angels, and he's a supporter, definitely a supporter of them. And I was like, why are they constantly targeted, bro? Like, what did the law enforcement get out of it? And he was like, bro, when you're as notorious as they are, and you've built a reputation on fear, no matter what you do in the community, no matter what it is, as long as you wear that patch, bro, you're intimidating law enforcement, and they don't like it. And so they'll use any means necessary to take you off that road, to take your patch off you, He says it's unfortunate. And so when I seen this case, man, and that's why I wanted to talk about it, and it was like a segue into, the violation things, because as a gang member and even being someone from a motorcycle club, and let's not get it twisted. For those of you that say, just say what it is, it's a motorcycle gang. Ain't no fucking such thing as a motorcycle gang. They're motorcycle clubs. I've never seen them act like gang members. They don't act like that. They act like club members from a clubhouse, and that's what it is. I get tired of people saying they're a motorcycle gang. I ain't never heard this. You motherfuckers are watching Sons of Anarchy too much. Period. But they will target you. You will get a violation, especially if you're an ex-gang member or a current gang member. Any little thing, man, they're going to find a reason. I remember back in my days, in the early the late 90s, I'd say the late 90s, it was 96, 97, I got out of YA. They were giving out gang cards in my city. And if you didn't have that on you, man, or you were around other gang members that had that gang card, it was a wrap. They were locking your ass up. You were a validated gang member in the city of Merced. That's the truth. I actually put out a short about that, and there was a lot of guys, damn, we never had that. We did. And some other cities in the Central Valley did. They were gang cards. And if you didn't have it on you, the cops would come up to you. They didn't even ask for your ID. They'd be like, you got your gang card on you? They already knew who was who and what was what. And if you had one and your homeboy had one, you're in jail and don't have one no more. It was all bad. Anyways, with that being said, man, I think this guy will get, a little bit of time and then be released. But it's just a cold setup, man, how he was allowed, with the parole officer knowing who was going to be there, allowed to go to this funeral, a fucking funeral. And then they double backed on him and violated him for it. It's crazy and amazing the world we live in, man. Mass incarceration, people getting locked up left and right. While there's actually people out there really doing true crime, real crime, and it takes forever for the cops to pull up to help. But when someone's going to a funeral, and I know people are going to say, well, he should have known better. It's on him. He shouldn't have been this. He shouldn't have been that. Think about it, man. There's people doing a lot worse stuff, but they're going to put him in a cell and take up occupancy and put him when there's fucking killers out there doing their thing and they ain't even paying attention. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I truly and honestly believe in, and that's the betterment of all people, man. Shout out to the Hells Angels. Respects. The gun.